Today we are going to have two oral exams, namely about the topics health and nutrition, and the second one is on the topic of sports, also health and nutrition. And first we are going to have a look at the first exam with a focus on fighting obesity, as you can see here. As usually, do not forget to start off with a smile. Here's Smiley Kyle. So always remember, when you start off your oral exam, have a smile on your face, be confident, sit up straight, make an impression that you know what you're talking about, and fake it until you make it if you don't have a clue what to talk about. But I guess you will, because you will be well prepared through this exam right now. Okay, let's have a look at the exam right now. As usually, you will be asked to introduce yourself. This is a part I'm repeating myself over and over again, but you can practice that at home over and over again, that it's super fluent and that you give a wonderful and brilliant first impression. And talk about your career, future plans, your hobbies, and so on and so forth. And now let's have a look at the situation. You have recently done a few workshops on healthy living and sports, and you also exercise at your local gym. So you are quite a sportive person. Even if you are not for this role play, you are. You want to pass on some of your knowledge, and are now doing a presentation in your English class about the topic of fighting obesity and health. Okay, your talk should cover the following bullet points, namely the importance of sports and healthy living in general. So why is sports important? Fitness, mental care, and so on and so forth. That is one of the topics, that you live longer, that you stay happy, that you find something to balance your life when you're just sitting at home, for example. Possibilities that help one to make sports more enjoyable. What can you think of? For example, doing it with friends together, using technology like applications, for example. Or what else can you do? Do group sports, or go to the gym and get professional support, for example. And then one of the other bullet points is super interesting, namely technological advances for the man on the street that help you to stay, or help one to stay fit. So as you may know already, there are loads and loads of applications on your mobile phone, probably. So on my phone there is one called the Health app. And that takes, for example, statistics on how many steps you've taken so far, and so on and so forth. But these measures actually help some people. However, in your talk then afterwards, you should react to the effectiveness of app-supported healthy living. There's also an article over here that does not argue in favor of app-supported healthy living. So you will see what we are going to talk about in this discussion. And then after the role play, you generally talk about health and fitness. Okay, I wanted to say something before we start. Yes, we copy the link then afterwards in the description down below. And there was something else, but I can't remember. Maybe I'll tell you later. Okay, there is Smiley Kyle at the very beginning, and we start off with the exam. Today I will be the examinee, and Davids is going to be the examiner. Ah, yes, it just struck my mind what I wanted to say. If you've got some ideas concerning these topics, brainstorm these in the chat if you're online. So we afterwards we may share and talk about your ideas as well. And if you've got a question, obviously type it in, and we'll discuss it then after the demo exam. Right, we'll put ourselves in the position for the oral exam. I am ready.
Okay, so can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you for having me for this oral exam. It's quite I'm quite nervous today because, as you know, quite shaky, as you can see. Yes, but yes, I start off in the middle, at the very beginning, pardon me for that. Hello, my name is Dominic. I am 25 years old. I'm actually taking my A-levels here, and I do that because I want to study linguistics in my future. So are you familiar with linguistics? Should I talk about a little bit
Yes, you can explain something very
Yes.
short.
Basically, my plan is to I like languages quite a lot, and what I'm really interested in is dialects, and you know that dialects are dying out, and I want to do like research on dialects and to preserve dialects as well, so to write them down, special words. And I heard that, for example, here at Innsbruck University, there are some experts in the field as well as in Vienna. I'm not sure where to go yet, but this is basically what I'm planning to do. And maybe when I'm big enough, so when I grew up, I will be a full-grown linguist.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Yes.
So, yes. Then thank you for your introduction.
Yes.
So you have already read the instructions, and please begin whenever you're ready.
I'll just fly over these again. Okay. Yes, hello. My name is Dominic, and thank you for having me today. The topic today is sports and everyday technology. Today I'm going to talk about the importance of sports, so in very general. Then afterwards I'm going to give you some pieces of advice how to make sports more enjoyable. And then in the end I can give you some expert tips on how you can use applications, for example, in order to make sports very interesting and also to integrate it to you in your daily life. So first and foremost, sports is something that is absolutely necessary nowadays, because maybe you've heard of it, that more and more people gain weight. One needs to fight obesity. There's also, for example, I think it was Michelle Obama with her campaign against obesity, that especially in first world countries, especially children are getting obese more and more, and people need to react to this issue. For example, already some schools in Great Britain have introduced the 1 hour per day that they need to practice sports, so on a daily basis from Monday to Friday, which I think is absolutely important, because to quote, for example, out of a soap opera called New Girl, Schmidt says, it's not very professional at the moment, but the sentence is very telling, your body is your temple. In other words, what he wants to convey is what you do and what you give to your body will stay a healthy building, will stay this beautiful place where you can go and also live. And this is also why you do it, because sports is not only good for your health concerning your body, but also for your mental health, because it gives you the possibility, among other hobbies, for example, to balance out stress, for example, to find confidence, to go over your borders, and this is absolutely necessary when you work in working environments nowadays, because you need to be able to hold the pressure that is sometimes given in certain jobs, for example, and this is why it is so necessary to integrate sports on a daily basis also in your life. And people might be wondering, okay, how can I integrate? I'm not fond of sports in general, and people are sometimes wondering, what can I do in order to motivate myself to become a sports person? And there are multiple ways to find your way to health and fitness. And for example, one is to do it in a group. So people sometimes think, yeah, you need to go out running, and you need to run at least 200 kilometers per day, whatever. I'm over-exaggerating right now. But sports is not something you do alone. You can do it in a group. So for example, at Innsbruck University, you've got the possibility to take USI courses. So basically at the Sports Institute Department for Sports, there's also something where everyone can participate. And there you can do it with a group together with other people that are not super sportive and super muscular, that just want to do something for the body. So you find someone who is maybe in the same situation that you are, and this might motivate you as well. Another possibility is, and that's also kind of interesting and gaining more interest right now, as one of the last topic I'm going to talk about, is using applications on your mobile phone or tablet. in order to integrate sports in your daily life. For example, maybe you've got also a phone. Loads of mobile phones have now an integrated health app that counts, for example, your steps, gives you how many meters, kilometers you've walked daily, that reminds you that you need to get up right now and take a walk because you've been sitting for too long right now. Or, for example, also that gains loads of interest in America, that famous sportsmen and women are actually integrated in these applications, that they use the voice over to motivate you. Just for example, when you decide to go running, and then that person, that famous person, then says, okay, sports person, then says, yeah, you're halfway there. You still need to run another kilometer in order to reach your daily goal. But this is something where you interact with technology on the one hand, and as well as with your body in order to motivate you. And this can give you another push to do it. And I highly encourage you to find a way, is it on your own or in a group, in order to integrate sports, because it's absolutely necessary to do it, even on a small basis. It can be Pokemon Go, for example, that gets you out to catch a Pokemon daily, or to hatch Pokemon you just need to walk. For example, find your outlet that gives you some kind of possibility to perform some form of fitness on a daily basis, and you can live a long and lasting and happy life.
Wow, yes, thank you for your presentation. There were some really interesting points, and it was a really interesting talk.
Thank you.
And now I have some questions.
Yes.
What do you think is the best app out there?
The best app out there, it's a tricky question, because as I just have outlined before, it is like this, that everyone has got specific needs for and specific ideas of what sports should look like in your life. As I just said, for example, if you are a person that is not a sports aficionado but wants to practice a little bit, but let's put it like this: you are interested in virtual realities, you can go for Pokemon Go, because it motivates you enough to go out to catch all the 300 and something Pokemon, and for that you need, in order to do so, you need to go and walk out and walk outside. But on the other hand, there are also other apps, as I just said before. For example, what's it called? I see the icon, but the name one. Anyways,
Okay.
there are apps that give you the possibility really to determine, okay, by the end of the month I want to reach this goal, that I'll be fit or be prepared to run a half marathon, for example, or to take to practice, or to take part in a running competition, for example, and that calculates you what you need to do. And one should not forget about what you should eat, what's the right food you should get in order to achieve that. So really changing your lifestyle and fitness on a holistic manner as well. So it gives you far more than just sportive goals, but also suggestions on how you can eat in order to get the necessary natural doping to become more efficient in sports.
Oh, okay. And do you also care about a healthy lifestyle?
Yes, I do. So, for example, I decided to go swimming on a weekly basis, so at least once a week I try to go swimming, because it is one of the sports activities that where you don't hurt your body that much, because you are floating in the water. You are actually training every bit of your every muscle and every bit of your body, and that is super interesting. And you won't hurt yourself, because, for example, when you lift weights, the chances are high that you hurt yourself somehow for sore muscles, for example. But while swimming, you have got a balanced sports activity that really helps you to have a holistic training approach.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Do you do standard sports or app-supported sports?
App supported on a small scale.
Okay.
So, like for example, I use this running app. Then I need to have a look at my app right now. But I use that one, and I catch Pokemon in my free time. Yes.
Okay, that's nice. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you have already told me about your experiences, and now we could move on to part 2 of the discussion.
Yes. So the follow-up discussion, or
The second part of the exam demonstration.
the second demonstration.
Yes.
Okay, let's first talk through the exam. So just a little bit of feedback. Could
Yes.
you switch that on again, please? And then I'll. This is what I talked about. For example, possibilities to make sports more enjoyable, to do it in a group, using apps, which then gave me actually the possibility to move on to the next topic. How can the man on the street, what kind of apps can one use? And I suggested an app where I couldn't remember the name, but you might know it if you're listening out there. Is there someone online right now? Can you have a look?
At the moment, no comment.
Well, if you know an app, say the name. Obviously, the health app is there, but that is just in a small case. If you've got, for example, a Apple-based mobile phone, but there are surely also similar ones for other mobile phones as well. And then I also talked about it depends, that is quite individual to find your path and your way into sports and a healthy living lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle. And then in the follow-up discussion, I reacted to the questions, and that was interesting because I was able then, the follow-up discussion and the task 2 were mingled together. So I talked about my experiences as well as questions about this topic. And if you want to have more information about fitness apps found, the text fitness apps found to make almost no difference to users' health, it's a super interesting article and broadens up obviously your mind towards this topic and might give you pieces of information that you can include in your oral exam if you have this topic. Right, let's move on to Smiley Kylie, the second oral exam. Doping in sports. Pardon me, a slightly more difficult topic, but you can manage that, you'll see. So again, same situation like beforehand, and you've a person that is interested in sports, and you have a presentation concerning a talk concerning the following topics: the importance of a healthy lifestyle in general. Here you also have the topic food, sports, and recreation. So you, in comparison to the other one, you're obliged to talk about these topics as well. If you're not familiar with recreation, it is like after sports, you need to stretch, for example, and to relax in order to bring your body back to a usual level. To explain it in English, and then here why good food, sports, and recreation have a positive influence on living. So the first and second point are very closely related to one another, but to make sure that you talk about both topics, and then afterwards the dangers of doping, especially on a non-professional level. So why is doping so dangerous, especially for the man on the street? And then in the follow-up discussion, again, you will be asked some questions. Here's also a text about consequences of doping. You find information then there. We copy the link down below, and obviously you are allowed to use your own knowledge concerning this topic. And then in the afterwards discussion, you talk about this topic again. Right, so we start off with Smiley Kylie, or the oral exam. Right, and here's David again.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with the introduction again. Please
Yes.
introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Dominic. I am 26 years old. I'm from Innsbruck and I work at the moment as a shop assistant here in Innsbruck, but my secret plans are actually to become a translator because I like languages and I like English and I want to pick up some Russian as well because Russian is one of the languages of the future besides Chinese. There are more and more people interested in Chinese, especially in, for example, companies, European companies that want to expand in Asia, the Asian market or discover the Asian market. And I think that I'm suitable for such a position and they need me. And this is why I'm pursuing a career as a translator as well.
Okay, nice. So let's move on to the second part. You have already read the instructions.
Yes.
And please start again whenever you're ready.
Yes. Right. Hello, thank you for having me. Today I'm going to have a presentation on the topic of doping in sports, to be more precise, and the dangers also that doping brings with it. But before we can move into that topic, it is necessary to talk about a healthy lifestyle in general. Because a healthy lifestyle is not just going to the gym and pumping as much as possible and getting muscles. No, a healthy lifestyle is a holistic approach to treat your body the way it needs to be treated. First and foremost, a healthy lifestyle begins with healthy food. This is also something you can do without doing loads and loads of sports or going to the gym quite a lot. You start off via creating an awareness for what you eat, how much you eat, obviously, and how you can create or bring a diversity to your daily dishes or daily meals, that you can find a balance between something you really like, but it's not that healthy, and on the other hand, you might discovering liking over time and then enjoy it over time, obviously, but it's something that will do your body good. Besides that, for example, you know the food pyramid, that we tend to, especially now in summer, to eat a lot of ice cream because it cools one down, but actually one should go for drinking, especially with these high temperatures at the moment, and eat, for example, vegetables and food or fruit as well, and then also the other possibilities to create dishes. And as I just said, it's a holistic approach. So not only is food important, but also sports. So daily sports, as we've heard in the media, is something that is very present. So also in school systems are changing now towards integrating daily sports lessons. And one should not forget that, as I just said, pumping on a daily basis is not something you should go for, but you should also think and rethink about recreation. So taking time to relax and giving your body time to, let's use a metaphor, to breathe, to really calm down again and let your hair down, one could say. And this is very necessary not to put your body, and especially while doing sports, into too much pressure, which is why it is super important to also practice recreation. And there's also loads of articles that have, for example, looked at the influence There are loads of studies that actually prove that food, sports and recreation have a positive influence on a healthy lifestyle. In other words, there's also a quite famous film, We Feed the World, I think it is, if I'm not too wrong, that tells the story, is it that one or another one? That tells the story of a person that only ate fast food for a certain amount of time and then got terribly sick. I think I'm not sure about the film title at the moment, but this is just one mass media possibility to also, in a quick time, without reading quite a lot, that you can get information on how healthy food can actually have an impact on your body as well. And it not just gives you, if you decide to practice sports and recreation, and as well as decide to eat good food, it has an influence on the on your how long you live on this planet Earth.
Okay.
To phrase it very easily, and also how fit you will be until you die. And you want to see quite a lot. This is why you need to take care of that. And people sometimes think, coming to the last point of my talk right now, that in order to achieve a certain goal, one should use doping. And doping is, by the end of the day, some form of drug. And we all know drugs are illegal to a certain for a certain reason, because they actually harm your body. And you might then ask, yeah, why do professionals dope then? Professionals actually, although it is illegal, do that with special mentoring, which does not justify the use of doping in the first place. But it is well taken care of. You, as a person that doesn't have a clue of this topic, it is necessary that you don't do it, because you might destroy more than you do good. Although you might use, for example, these enhancers, let's put it like this, but and you see an effect that you have a growing, your muscles grow, for example, very quickly. That doesn't necessarily mean that they will stay for a long period of time, but they are just there for a second, and it has this negative effect that once you start it, you need more to hold this goal you have, and to really keep the muscles you've got. And the more you're into this cycle, the more expensive it gets. The deeper you become dependent of these drugs. And as I just said, drugs are illegal and won't do you good. This is why you should not go for doping in your life.
Okay, that already answered a part of my question.
Okay, what was your question? Just
because I also think that it is dangerous to take drugs for non-professionals.
Yeah.
And high professionals use doping, but they are mentored.
Yeah.
So it is a bit under control.
Yeah, and we've heard about it, that even although it is mentored, that like the Olympics in Russia, I think a few years ago, although the doping was traced to have taken place, I think it is ages ago, it was still traceable in your body. And obviously there are certain drugs that have a long-lasting effect. They are super expensive, yes, but they are still traceable in your body. And if you think you consume something that is traceable after months, or you've consumed it, it cannot be good, because your body can't how do you put that in words?
Yes, it's not
can't
really
recycle
natural.
it properly. Yes, yeah.
So it's not really natural, but is there any kind of natural doping? Or in other words, can you improve your performance without artificial doping?
Yes, it is possible. And one very easy way is, as already outlined, is healthy food. Because it gives you the right amount of, for example, vitamins, that what you need, and so on and so forth, in order to stay healthy. For example, some see caffeine as some kind of doping. So there are sportsmen, unprofessional sportsmen, that drink coffee, which is not illegal, but gives you a push for a certain amount of time. We all know that coffee, the effectiveness of coffee is like you drink it, and after half an hour it kicks in and lasts for about 1.5 hours more or less, and then you should have another one, for example. But it may enhance your performance for a limited amount of time. And it's not illegal, and it's something you can do. And if you like coffee, just put your coffee right before you go to the gym, for example, or to practice sports. This is what you can do, and it might work, but it's very individual. But go for the safest way is to go for a healthy lifestyle concerning food.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Yes.
And let's move on to another topic. Do you do much sports in your free time besides swimming?
Actually, besides swimming, not a lot, because I'm quite busy, because I work as a shop assistant, and I work there part-time. And part-time I was preparing for the A-levels at the moment, but I'm looking forward to have more free time. But then I will pursue one of my hobbies, because I like music quite a lot as well, and then I will pick up playing the piano again. and will keep up doing my weekly swimming sessions. But so far, I'm quite happy where I am. But I don't plan to do more. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it answers very, very much. So,
what about you?
I do also some sports, but just walking, take a walk for half an hour after some meal, and
yes,
sometimes I do a bit running, and that's all. So
that's fine.
yes.
If you don't need more, it's perfect.
No, it's fine for me.
Yes.
And yes, the last question for today.
Yes.
What kind of sports do you suggest for beginners?
For beginners, yes, what's always super easy to start off is what you've just said is walking on a daily basis. If you're really trying to motivate yourself to get out at least for half an hour, and to walk, because you get fresh air. You can think of your life in that meantime. If you feel like, okay, I need to do more, you can go running, which is also quite a safe sports, or even swimming, which is one of the safest to do without hurting yourself. And if you really want to go full-on fitness, you can always go to a gym, for example, and there are some good ones and better ones.
Okay.
Let's put it like this, because some actually offer you a full program with a mentor. Some just offer you a mentor, a one-time mentor. And if you don't have a clue of sports, go for the higher priced ones, because then you have got mentoring on a weekly basis, because you need it, because you might not be familiar with the exercises, and also for example, the press machine, how to use it correctly. And if you have well-experienced sportsmen, you can obviously go for the low-priced ones, because you know how to treat yourself in the gym.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for your talk.
Yes,
now
thank
we
you
have
very
come,
much.
To the end of this presentation.
Yes.
I will just switch over to your
Yes, perfect.
notebook.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's have a look at the at Smiley Kylie again. See, let's draw a heart, because she looks so lovely. Let's draw a second one, because otherwise the other one's lonely. Right, doping in sports. It was not one of the main topics in the talk. It was just 1/3 of it. And I tried to make clear that food, sports and recreation is an important topic concerning fitness. However, one could talk more about the topic recreation. I was very short about that. Your examiners might be strict and say, okay, this is a topic the examinee did not talk quite a lot about, and you might lose points there. However, the topics food and sports were dealt with quite extensively. And I also made clear why it is dangerous, why doping is dangerous, because first and foremost it's drug, and we all know drugs are not that healthy at all. So don't do drugs out there. Children, go away. And let's have a look at the second part, why professionals do it. I also brought in something that used to be in media, like Russia, the Olympics, where some of the sportsmen and women used doping, and it was still traceable, and they did not get a medal because of that. And this is always good if you bring outside information. You find also more in pieces of information following this link. And if you don't have a clue of it, obviously it is super necessary that you read it, because this might be one of your topics. And what's also interesting was the follow-up discussion. And never forget that you are allowed to also ask a question, which is what I did, ask what the examiner actually practices in his free time. You can do that. You shouldn't do that in the first part of the exam, so while you introduce yourself, but here you kind of show that you are able to have a conversation, to know your way around in dialogical speaking, because the other parts are monological speaking. Here you react to something, here it's dialogical speaking. So really be confident enough to actually ask a question, and don't be afraid. And never forget, be Smiley Kylie or Smiley Kyle at the very beginning of the oral exam. Right, we are now at the end of our stream. Next week, the topic is the importance of a study plan and how to summarize your topics, how to create mind maps and to revise topics, and how to practice speaking about topics. And it's with Christoph and Karina. I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and in the meantime I wish you today a nice cool down. Hopefully it will rain quite soon. I hope so, because I'm sweating like hell. And if the cool down won't come with the rain, I wish you a nice cool drink and enjoy your evening, and I wish you a very nice one at the very end. Goodbye!